Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. So, what exactly happens when a car that is absolutely legendary for its quiet, no-nonsense practicality suddenly decides to, well, grow up? What happens when it packs in advanced technology and really ramps up its ambition? Today, we are taking a very close look at the all-new 2026 Volkswagen Passat. And spoiler alert, this is no longer just your sensible A to B transportation, not even close. We're looking at a completely fascinating evolution into a highly ambitious, super tech-forward executive sedan.
But, that dramatic leap brings us directly to a central conflict. Has the Passat lost its core identity? Honestly, it's a highly valid question to ask right out of the gate. With this massive growth in size, this heavy injection of high-end tech, and yeah, a much higher price tag, does it sacrifice the very thing it's always been known for, that quiet, everyday practicality? Let's unpack the evidence from our sources to find out exactly what buyers are gaining here, and maybe, just maybe, what they might be leaving behind.
Section 1. Restraint versus expression. A quiet automotive evolution.
Starting with the exterior, Volkswagen has intentionally stuck to a pretty understated design philosophy here. The timeless, aerodynamic approach gives you this wide grille that blends seamlessly into slim LED headlights. Plus, the relatively upright front end gives it absolutely excellent forward visibility, which is a massive plus for daily driving that often gets totally sacrificed in those modern, swoopier cars. But on the flip side, in a segment where competitors are getting highly expressive and visually aggressive, this conservative styling arguably lacks a bit of expressive drama. If you want a car that turns heads the second you pull up, the source material notes this approach might leave you wanting just a bit more character.
Moving around to the rear of the vehicle, the Passat adds a touch of modern flair without entirely abandoning its conservative roots. That full-width light bar visually widens the car, giving it a much more premium, instantly recognizable presence, especially at night. Paired with a really subtle spoiler, it's aerodynamic, it's cohesive. Basically, nothing looks over-designed. Every single line seems to serve a purpose, maintaining that classic Passat usability while gently stepping into the modern design era.
Section 2. Comfort versus complexity. The digital cabin trade-off.
So while the outside whispers its evolution, the inside, well, it absolutely shouts it. The cabin has undergone a massive transformation. The materials are significantly more upscale, and the legroom, especially in the rear, feels straight out of a premium executive sedan. It's literally perfect for long-distance cruising. And the advanced tech is a massive step up. We're talking adaptive cruise control, lane-keeping assist, and highly refined semi-autonomous driving capabilities. These systems elevate the new Passat vastly beyond its previous generations. It truly makes the car feel like a genuine high-end offering when you're out there on the highway.
However, there is a catch. As our source material directly notes, the interface requires a learning curve, and not all menus are immediately intuitive. And honestly, this represents the major cabin trade-off. The 2026 Passat shifts aggressively away from physical buttons. Instead, it relies heavily on a massive central infotainment screen and digital touch surfaces. Now, while this looks incredibly modern and sleek, it definitely risks alienating drivers who prefer the simple, tactile usability of older models. It's a pretty polarizing shift, where cutting-edge aesthetics can sometimes clash with immediate ease of use.
Section 3. Comfort over thrills. The mechanical philosophy.
All right, this brings us to how the car actually behaves once you finally get it out on the road. Under the hood, you're going to find a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine paired with a dual-clutch transmission. But keep in mind, it's tuned for a very specific purpose. You get a totally composed, bump-absorbing ride. The suspension is remarkably refined, just soaking up road imperfections with ease, and the steering is light and predictable. It is a fantastic long-distance cruiser. However, it does lack engaging feedback. The Passat simply isn't trying to be a sports sedan. It's really not designed to thrill you in the corners. So for buyers seeking exciting driving dynamics and a ton of steering character, the Passat will likely leave them wanting a bit more. It stays entirely true to its roots of efficient, incredibly smooth performance.
Section 4. Premium versus practical. The price dilemma.
So we have an executive-sized cabin, high-end tech, and a wonderfully luxurious ride. But here is the harsh reality check. $40,000. Yep, that is the starting price point we are looking at for the 2026 Passat, based on current European positioning for trims like the R-Line. And wow, it builds quickly from there. Well-equipped versions climb to a staggering $50,000. This is really the climax of the Passat's evolution. It is no longer just your budget-friendly family sedan, no way. It now sits squarely on the edge of the premium segment, which drastically changes consumer expectations and ultimately who exactly is shopping for this car.
To really grasp what this means for buyers, we have to compare it against its main rival, the Skoda Superb.
You see, the Passat comes in at a higher price, completely loaded with that touch-heavy digital interior we just discussed, leaning really hard into brand cachet and cutting-edge tech. Meanwhile, the Superb is often slightly lower in price, actually retains those physical, intuitive interior controls, and get this, offers even more rear space. It's a true head-to-head battle between the Passat's push for a semi-premium, modern digital identity and the Superb's traditional focus on absolute value and usability. Basically, which side of the fence you prefer will absolutely dictate which car makes sense for your garage.
Bringing it all together, the key takeaways from our source material are super clear. First off, the 2026 Passat is a calculated step toward the premium segment. It is a far cry from just being your basic safe choice. Second, it delivers absolutely exceptional long-distance comfort, maintaining its legacy as an incredible highway cruiser with genuine executive-level legroom. But third, all of this ambition comes with some real compromises. Specifically, you've got that steep learning curve of the touch-heavy interface and, of course, a significantly higher price tag.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. Considering this entire evolution, do you prefer this modern, premium direction Volkswagen is taking, or do you really miss the straightforward, button-heavy simplicity and budget-friendly nature of the older Passat models? It's a truly fascinating pivot for such an iconic vehicle. Think about what matters most to you when you actually get behind the wheel. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I really hope this helps clarify exactly what the new Passat brings to the table. Keep asking questions and keep learning.